There's a phrase that really, really helped me understand. It's in Ephesians 1:18, and I'm not a Bible thumper. I am a storyteller, and I want you to hear some implications of this. What I'm trying to do is interpret the facts that we know and put them into a different context and allow them to work in you. I have really enjoyed my journey in the Lord. Christ is Alpha and Omega. From the day of your birth, we can talk more about that, but to the end of your life is a journey. And that journey is a faith journey. And the faith journey allows us to discover things. Faith is the journey. Agape is the illumination or the revelation. And I see, and I taste, and I smell, and I own, and I enjoy, so all these things start to open, and I begin to perceive some depth of God's purpose in the earth. And I want to talk to you about that. Where do we get eyes in our heart? First of all, do we need eyes in our own mind? Do we ever? Everybody knows, even science now knows, that everything is moving to a whole spiritual dimension increasingly. Talk quantum and string theory, and all of a sudden your mind is freaked out because you know what we thought was real is different than we ever understood. And so I need eyes in my heart. And when I perceived that, it just brought me tears. Tears of gratitude mostly, because I wanted to see where did we get eyes in our heart. It surrounds what Jesus talked about, the new birth. He said, if you receive me, I'll open your understanding. I will put eyes in your heart. I will make your hearing different. You'll be able to hear the voice of God and the voice of the Holy Spirit, and you'll be able to perceive things differently. And I want to show you how that works. And when I finally understood eyes of my heart, then I perceived that I could see for the first time that God, as a father, is looking for an inheritance. I've been always taught all my life, get your inheritance, get all you can all you get, and so all of this. And all of a sudden, I saw the logic of how the New Testament works and why it is important for me to have eyes in my heart. I need to see things that are not visible. And that has to do with the kingdom. I need to see Father's inheritance. I need to see myself as participant in Father's inheritance. And that means, as a participant, I can ignore it. I can be ignorant of it. It can be, my participation can be given to someone else. I can lose it. I can betray my participation. But when I begin to see with the eyes of my heart, I understood, sell it all and buy the field. Trade your pearls, keep the kingdom center. And I began to understand. Now, watch what I'm saying. We used to know Christ after the flesh. We don't know him that way anymore. When Christ was baptized in water, he was baptized as a Jewish Messiah, and he was resurrected as the cosmic Christ to redeem the whole world. Jew, Gentile, the whole world. And so now I need eyes to see him. And Matthew, Mark, Luke teaches us about the earthly Christ. John is the one who takes us into a realm where we're seeing him as Son of God and the cosmic Christ and the redemptive act for all of humanity. And then all of a sudden I thought, yes, that's why John said, it's John who says, you must have eyes in your heart. Now, what is my inheritance? My inheritance is the call the kingdom offer to become a participant in helping Father gain his inheritance. I thought, oh my God, that's a vision, never runs out. You don't ever fulfill it. It's something that calls me out of myself into him. And so all of a sudden I saw myself. Now, Paul uses a governmental word. Scary, but that's what he calls himself. An ambassador. I don't know, man. One time I was on a KLM flight, and it was oversold, and so they put me up in first class, and man, I was really happy camper, and this fellow, and everybody in first, all in KLM then was all royal, remember, it was all done in royal blue and purple, and he says, so what do you do? And I said, oh, I have in my briefcase the plans for the whole world. And he was really impressed. But what I was trying to do was educate myself. And what I'm trying to do now is educate you into an understanding that if you have eyes in your heart and you can see Father's inheritance, you can receive a kingdom offer, and your whole life changes, everything changes, and you have something worth living for, something worth dying for, something that makes life make sense. And I thought, how am I going to tell these people? And I thought, well, just try it and see if they could hear me. Sell it all, buy the field. Trade your pearls. What does that mean? That means when you hear a guy like me, you begin to say, oh, what I've had is good, but what is being offered is better. And so I make my shift and do that. And not complicated. It's real. It's authentic. So here's what I'm asking. Would you consider giving yourself to God the Father, just like Christ? Give yourself to God the Father and say to him, I would like to participate with you for you to gain your inheritance in the earth. And watch God himself come into your life with situations and finances and issues and changes and happenstances and stuff, and your whole life will become an adventure. I promise you, money back.